All right, Whippers, welcome back. It is good to see you. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful holiday month so far, right? Enjoying time with friends and family and out there doing the things, hopefully staying away from those crazy drivers, right? And those out of control women trying to, jiu-jitsu you for the last Cabbage Patch, if you know what I mean. That just dated me, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And I hope you're staying alert and aware out there. There's a lot of people out there taking advantage of people that aren't paying attention and aren't situationally aware. So don't be one of them. Be one of the heroes, not one of the victims, right? Right. So take care of yourself. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of things that aren't right. Maybe a marking on your car, things like that. Maybe somebody taking the same amount of turns as you are, right? These are things we're going to think about even on these holiday seasons. Now, that being said, also be out there looking for ways to create great memories, right? Like, I don't know, gingerbread houses, making snowmen if it's snowing in your area, right? Go up and make a snow day and play in the snow. All those kind of things. And be looking for gifts that might be getting people thinking of preparedness, right? Right. Now, that being said, you may see Benny running around here. He's been trying to get into the presents. And the thing is, he can't read. So he thinks it might be for him, but he's opening other people's. So keep an eye out for him. Make sure he's not doing that. Okay? Let me know. Right? All right. So that being said, let's get started with 10 great ideas for gifts or stocking stuffers for this season. This will take us all the way out to 13th. All the way out to December 16th, because I'm trying to do one for every day. Now, these are affordable. I'm trying to be these as affordable ways to give a gift of preparedness to someone you love that maybe isn't thinking of it or could use it. Now, let's start out with the easy and obvious one. This one here is Wally World, right? It's $4.97 or something like that. It's under $5, and it's a multi-tool. Now, I know you've seen those down there, but they've upgraded it since then. Now, it's got a springy open thing, which always is handy, so you don't have to operate it like this. You can just look at that, and it cuts wire. It has a plier section, has a needle nose section. That's the best one, I think. Now, aside from that, it's also given rubberized grips. Now, it also has some tools. It's got a knife, right? It's got a file with a screwdriver, a big flathead screwdriver on the end. It's got right there, see that? That is a Phillips screwdriver. And then it's got a scaler on there, or a hook remover for a fish. And it keeps you from lying because it's got a 2-inch ruler on there. So you can't say it's this big anymore when it's really just this big. So that being said, that's what's on that side. Now let's look on the other side. We've got a can opener on there. See that, right? We've all used those before. It's kind of like the old military style ones. We've got a small flathead screwdriver and a bottle opener. We've got a lanyard ring, right? So you can leave that out and put it on a lanyard and put a carabiner hook on it if you wanted to hang it from your backpack, I guess. And then it's got a leather punch. Now, the leather punch I use all the time, especially in preparedness and outdoor stuff. You've always got to poke a hole in something and it's kind of sharp so you can holler it out, right? Or your belt, you need another loop because you haven't eaten for a while, you're on a long hike, and you just need a little bit more tension on something. I use it for that. There's all kinds of uses for the leather punch. Make sure that all of my multi-tool type knives or tools have a leather punch. And you're tying knots. Knots have a way of getting tight, right? You can use this as a marlin spike. Now, you might not know what a marlin spike is unless you've been on a boat or, like me, were raised on one as a kid and have been sailing and all that kind of stuff at a young age. A marlin spike is used for tying and untying knots, mainly untying, but here we go. And we've got a saw. It's just like one of those regular silky type blade type saws, just a real small one. Now, I don't advise doing big work with it, but in a pinch, it can help, right? So those are the tools that are on it. For under $5, I think it's a great gift. And you know what? How many times have you used a multi-tool in your life? Ask yourself that question. When you give that to somebody, every time they use it, and you know they will, they're going to think of you and think of preparedness. And I think that's awesome. So that's item number 1. Item number 2. looky here. You may all laugh at this. It's a 10-in-1 pocket tool. It looks like a credit card. You keep it in your wallet, right? Let me get a drink of coffee here. Believe it or not, I've actually used these. It's got a bottle opener on it. It's got a knife blade, right? Right there, knife blade, right? It's got a can opener, which works. I've used it. And I think I'll do a video on this in the future where I use all the things on here and show you how it uses. But I'm gonna need your help on one. So pay attention. We've got a small flathead screwdriver. We've got a small ruler right there, right? Yeah, I know that may be adequate for some, but I'm gonna have to, you know, have 4 or 5 of these in order to do measuring. So that being said, it's got a what they call a 4-position wrench, right? So that'll slide onto nuts so you can turn it, smaller nuts. Nuts and rulers, right? Anyway, and then it's got what they call a 2-position wrench for smaller ones even yet. Those can come in handy if you need to hold a nut on one side, put that card over it and tighten it with the screwdriver on another side from your multi-tool. I'm telling you what, that can work. Now, it has a saw right there, right? It's got a little back saw. I think it worked good for scaling more because it doesn't seem super sharp, but I would use it for that. But I don't know if I put it back in my wallet because that make your wallet smell fishy, right? And let's see, it's got, what do they call that? That's a butterfly screw wrench. Oh, okay, I've always wondered that. What's that slot right there? That's for putting over butterfly nuts to make it easier to turn. Now, I could actually see that working pretty well. Now, aside from that, the last one is what this round circle down there. I've always wondered what that is. And it says direction ancillary wrench. Put in the comment section what in the heck a direction ancillary wrench is. And let's see if we can figure it out together. All right? All right. So that is your 10-in-1 pocket tool. This is like under $2. Now they may have in today's days, because of supply chain issues and all that kind of stuff, raised it up to $2.49 or something like that, but I think it's still under $2. So that's a great stocking stuffer gift, easy to wrap, something somebody could put in their wallet. And we've all been caught out before on a fancy night out to dinner where we might not have all of our EDC stuff in our pockets, which I really don't do, but some people do. And, you know, get caught without it, that is. And I tell you what, and there's a bottle opener. If I needed to open a beer or a can because I was out somewhere and starving and SHTF and didn't have my can opener with me, I would be thankful that I had this, right? Right. So, great gift. Gets people thinking about it. They will take this out at one point. I have one in my wallet. I've used it. Mine has a magnifying glass on it. That's why I used it, is to start a fire. But that right there will be handy and useful. So, that's number 2. Number 3, I got this rope here from REI. Now, a little more expensive. It's still under $10. But it's not just paracord. See, you look at this and go, oh, that's just paracord. Now, it's skinnier than paracord, which one makes it easier to tie nice tight knots for making a structure or something like that. It's still got good strength. Some of the pluses to this, it has a reflective weave in it so that it will catch light and be a reflective marker, right? Now, good things for that. You can mark your way in and out of areas so that you can navigate them at night, right? Say you're lost in the woods too and you're not sure which direction you should go. You could use this to mark on trees, cut off little sections and put them on the ends of tree limbs that are down in your eyesight range. And you've got say you got your flashlight or something, and you could go a direction, get your azimuth and your heading and go that direction. And if you find out that there's an obstacle or something that's not right and or it's the wrong direction and you need to backtrack, you'll be able to do it easier with this. You can also use it to mark your favorite hunting areas so it's not so obvious to people. You could even use it for day or night. You could, because it's not only reflective, but it's high vis, you could use it to get in and out, say, of a kill. We do that all the time. You get an elk down or something like that, and you're deep into a valley somewhere. Well, it helps you as you get in and out. As you get close, you'll pick up one of these, and you can follow it just right to your animal. Right? So there's all kinds of uses for that. But not only that, you can also use this to start fires. And that's the part I thought was cool. There's an inner waxed core of jute in there, right? That actually works well. So let's see here. I'll show you here. Oh, here we go. Now, besides the nylon, there's an inner core. You saw it burning there at the end. And we'll do a video in the future on that, looking at it closer. There's a wax core in that. So it has a reflective band in the weave itself. It has a wax core. It has a nylon core. All of that is burnable. So you could say, take an inch off of this and start a fire with it, or even a ½ inch off of it and start a fire with it. And it's waterproof, because not only is it in this nylon sleeve, it is also waxed in the inside. So that is a huge plus for Readiness. So that is our third item. Now, our fourth item from Wally World, it's under $10 as well, is a Ferrocerium rod and striker by Zippo, right? Now, you'll see I got some stuff on here because that's going to be a future video. I'm working on a project using this fire cord right here to not only give us lengths of rope, but also give us sections that we can cut off to use as fire starter. What a great thing, right? It's a great thing right here. This together makes a great fire starting kit just in itself. And as you can see, it's got a nice 3/8 Ferrocerium rod and a great striker that works great. Look at that, right? Hope I don't start the countertop on fire. I'll be in big trouble. So as you can see, I've started these little lanyards on here that look like paracord bracelets, right? And I'll show you how to do this in an upcoming video. But it's not only to give you something for cordage and starting fires, but it's also, as you'll find when you're out there, I know when you've been out there trying to work in the cold, especially if you're stranded or out hunting or something like that, and you're trying to start a fire and your hands are frozen and they're not working well, having a little extra something to grip onto is good. Also, there was an episode of Alone, and this happens all the time, where somebody sets their item down and can't find it. Then you're in big trouble because you walked off with it, then you can't find your way back to the direct spot, right? With something like this, you set it down, it screams out at you, pick me back up. And that's another thing. Don't ever set anything down. Put it back in your pocket where it belongs, or in your pack where it belongs, right? Don't just set it down and move on to the next step. Be organized, right? Think ahead. Even if you're starting a fire, have your fire thing going and everything, and once you have it started and going, take that and put it back, right? Just don't set it aside. So the nice thing about this, it's a nice little kit together. I'm going to show you what we can do with this and how to do it in a future video, but this is a one and go, one and done, right? Right. Okay. So that's the fourth item. Now, next one. These are real matches right here. This is a Boy Scout matches. And we're going to do a video on this too. Yeah, I know a lot of you are saying that's a plumber's torch. Well, it is. It has a starter on it like that, and it's got a little knob for propane, and it uses the skinny and the fat propane bottles, the 1-pounders and then the little plumber's type, right? And the reason I have this is we use this in elk camp to start everything. Why? Because it's easy and handy. You don't have to get matches out and strike them. You don't have to get a striker to do anything. You just pick it up, boom, and a flame comes out like a torch and it'll start anything on fire. So we're going to show you this in a future video. The thing I like about this one, it's a nice, handy, compact one, and it's inexpensive. Instead of being $30, $40, this one's $15 or $14.97 at Wally World. And it's a great stocking stuffer because it doesn't weigh much. You can throw it in your pack, especially if you're already, or your emergency essentials. And that way, because you probably have a propane stove in there, well, now you got a propane lighter. Telling you what, and as you can see, these don't always start. This one will. So there's another idea. Okay, that's number 5. Now, number 6, hand warmers. Telling you what, I cannot tell you how many times this has made me a hero for being in my kits. I carry lots of these in my kits because I have the intention on giving them away. I can't tell whether it was a baseball game or a soccer game or out hunting or out camping or just out with friends on a barbecue, and it's not, say, middle of, it's say fall or something like that, and the ladies' hands are cold, or even my hands are cold, which my hands don't get cold for some reason, but people's hands get cold and they start getting chilly. These are great. They make them for toe, so you can put them in your boots. They make body warmer ones, so you can put it in the inside pocket of your jacket. And if you've ever used these, which most of you probably have, you know they work, and they do work for a good long time. I've timed them. They're accurate on how long they say. It says here, I think it's 10 hours. That's correct. They really do work good. This is a great way too, because somebody will put this in their car or in their gear, and every time they get it out, they'll think of you, and they'll think of preparedness and how glad they are that they had them. So hand warmers, great idea. Now here, essential oils, right? We've got eucalyptus and tea tree. There's great uses for both of those. Tea tree kind of keeps pests away too, right? That kind of thing. It can help open up your breathing. Eucalyptus, same sort of thing. Here's a great one, clove, right? You can put that on your gums if you have a toothache, something like that, right? Good uses for cloves. Breathe easy. This is just a mixture to help with stress. You can just put it like there, or, you know, right there. And I tell you what, now these aren't like the kind that you use for scents. These are actually essential oils. These were at Wally World. They were like under $6 for one. And there's a lot of uses for these, and I think they're a handy gift, and people will appreciate them if you want something that isn't so obviously preparedness, right? And then, of course, the last one is peppermint. We've got peppermint there. There's a lot of great uses for peppermint as far as mood, as far as breathing, opening up your breathing and so forth like that. Just look into it. I'm telling you what, they will be thankful for these. Now, that's the 6th item. Now, the 7th item right here. I might have got my count off. Anyway, is Memo Pads. These were 88 cents for 4. One for the car, one for your bug out bag, one for your emergency essentials kit in your car, and one at home, right? It never fails that taking notes, especially in SHTF, you're never going to be able to remember everything in an emergency situation. Things are going to be very fluid, very stressful, very chaotic. This will help you keep things organized and moving towards a productive direction, right? Because if it's swimming around in your head, you'll tend to start to panic and get maybe anxiety and so forth. Taking notes always helps. It also helps for situational awareness. Knowing if something's different, right? Jotting down notes of what you see around your house or important areas or even around town, right? It helps keeping you see when something changes, right? Wait a minute, that car wasn't there before. What's it doing there now, right? Telling you what, never can. And you know what? This isn't the right in your rain. You don't have to pay $5 for a notepad and another $12 for a pen to write on it that'll write upside down, sideways, and in any kind of weather. That's great if you can do it. But if not, just get a pen or a pencil and this kind of pad. People, when they need to make a note, even as simple as just your shopping list and stuff like that, because being organized with keeping your preps and your food and storage and stuff you're putting away is always a good idea. It's always helpful. The more organized you can be, the better. So that's a great gift, and it's 88 cents. It's a perfect stocking stuffer, right? Right. All right. Now, the next one we've got, and I know you might think this is weird, but adjustable hammock tree straps. One, if somebody has a hammock, these are great because it never fails. They got a hammock, but they don't have something to go around a great big tree. So you can't use your hammock, right? You got to find a smaller tree. Now, that may not be a problem in some areas, but in some areas it could be. You might need that big tree. But not only that, having strapping is a great idea for a lot of reasons. One, this will allow you to get around a big tree to make a ridge line for a structure, a shelter, right? It will allow you to get around a big tree to pull rope tight to hang your game or your gear or your food away from predators, right? The strap itself can help you pull things that are heavier than you need to pull if you know how to use it right, right? There's all kinds of use for a strap. It'll also help, say, something breaks on your gear. You'll have webbing or strap to fix it, right? Or to tie something more onto it. There's a lot of uses for a good strap. And this was a nice kit. It was like $10. And I got it because I have a hammock and I didn't think about it. I thought, wow, that's right. How am I going to get around a big tree? Sure, you could use paracord and it'd probably hold. but save your paracord for something that you really need to do with it, even your laces. There's a lot of things you can do with paracord, and use a strap, right? It's a great idea of a gift. This would be one that most people don't think about, right? And then the last item right here are, say you have somebody who does prepare a little bit, has a lantern set away, has the basics, right? Well, get them something they can use that they always don't think about getting, but are really upset when they realize that their mantle broke in their lantern and they don't have another, right? These are cheap. They're pennies per pack. Like, I think it was like 60 cents a pack or something like that, right? And there's different types too. You have the old-fashioned string type that you have to tie. Those are always harder to do because you got to tie that stupid little rope, right? And these things too, the reason it's great to get these as a gift is mantles are fragile. And when you store something away, sometimes in getting out of Dodge, things can break, right? Or even just lighten them up. They just are done, right? So you got the tie-on type. And then I like these clip type. They have a metal clip, so all you have to do is just spread the metal, put it up around there, and let it clip or spring back and hold it. And then they have these big mantles, if that's the type of stove you have. These help produce bigger light. They clip at the top and bottom, if that's the kind of lantern you have. You can also retrofit these to work on others, but this is a good idea too. So having these mantles for them to put into their kit will remind them how much you appreciate them being prepared-minded as well, right? So those are my gifts. That should take us out to the 16th for stocking stuffers, for preparedness and readiness in everyday situations. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope Benny wasn't too crazy in the background, and I hope you guys are safe, secure, staying aware of your surroundings, especially right now, and getting ready and prepared for anything that may come your way. Until next time, adios.